Oh, I love you.
Okay, this is going to Aunt Nidabell's house.
Who happens to be Dr. Kinley's only living relative.
Only immediate relative. He
Only
has
immediate
grandkids.
sister. And we're gonna, what are you gonna do?
Want to do her house.
Okay. Her
Carol
address
versus
is 241 how do you say it?
Raffensperger.
This is the house that Dr. Kinley lived in also.
Oh, you know one thing.
Yes, ma'am.
I said, confetti. I said, I don't have their address. The beautiful flowers. Oh, they're so pretty. Man, I've got them out there. I was trying to keep from down in one of the other brothers down in Florida.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah, they send you flowers too?
Sent me flowers.
See?
Sent me flowers. But I'm trying to make them grow. They were potted. And I couldn't tell whether they were artificial or not. And I tried, but you know.
Let me get on the other side, honey.
Look. Oh, bless your heart, Bubba. I am just so glad. I just wanted to put my hand on you, you know.
We love you so
and
much.
And the people in Chicago, they wanted to see what I did.
Yes, ma'am. They all wanted to know. Every time we come and we visit you, we repeat the exact words that you said to us many years ago.
What?
And we asked you the question, what was the most important thing, or something about what do you remember Dr. Kinley telling you? And you were saying to be ever conscious of the ever-present.
That's right.
So say it, tell us.
Honey, he told us that.
What did he tell you?
Oh, he you know, Dr. Kinley had a way when classes going along, when classes going, and sometimes people would kind of get drowsy.
Mm-hmm.
Of course, he could see it up there.
Yes, ma'am.
But we couldn't see it down there with him. And he said, "Wake up! Look up here!" And he'd take his chart,
Mm-hmm. His pointer,
mm-hmm. and peck up there. He said, "Look up here! Look up here!" And he'd always tell you something, you know. I always have something to tell you. Be mindful of the ever-presence of Yahweh. And he'd come to see you, you know, and the young people, of course, they still come. They still want to come over. And but I never turn them. I never.
You never turn them down?
Oh, no, not if I.
I'm going to get some more light.
No, you know what I mean?
They just want to see what you look like.
Well, bless them.
And they want to hear what you have to say. So we drove all the way here because we wanted to talk to you.
Well, bless
Yahweh must want you to tell us something. So we want to be here to hear it. Okay? You want to put your feet up?
Well,
Here,
I'm
let's put your feet
supposed to, but,
Well, keep them up, girl.
well, oh, they,
Come on, get them up, and then I'll turn this around. Now we're going to get you comfortable.
okay.
Okay.
What? Well, now let's see.
Now you get nice and comfortable. You want it farther away?
Well, this is all right.
You sure? Can you lay it down comfortably?
I can't lay them down too close.
Okay.
Well, but this is about as good as
That's okay?
I have them right now.
Okay, as long as you're comfortable then.
No.
I'm not even, what is this? This is such a cool table.
What?
This table. What, do you know how old this table is?
Yeah.
Oh, this is beautiful.
You know what it is in the table?
What is it, ma'am?
It's what smoker, what the men call? What do you call men?
You mean when they kept their tobacco?
Yeah.
Oh, no way.
It's
That's
a
what
pipe.
this is.
Oh,
It's a, look, it's a placement here.
This was my first husband's,
Oh, stop.
and that was
And he smoked pipes?
no. I was married twice.
Uh-huh.
This was my first husband.
This is
Married him in 1924.
1924.
Yeah. This little humidor. and then my first husband died, and I was married 5 years later.
Mhm.
And that's what he kept us for smoking.
He kept his tobacco.
Every payday he would put 2 cartons.
Okay.
That's about all we was able to pay, you know.
Okay.
And you know, I tried to learn how to smoke. I tried to learn, you know. I'd come to California and I'd see the girls smoking.
Uh-huh.
And it looks so good. Of course, Mary Groves and the young women out there, they smoke. I'm on country girl here. And so they try to get me, you know, they want to put some slacks on because I hadn't worn those slacks yet.
You never wore pants before?
Oh, well, I hadn't worn them till after I went to California.
And what year was that?
Well, you see, Dr. Kinley went out there in 58. Well, we got so cut knowledge. Nathan Higgins' aunt. We'd go out, and my sister Elizabeth, and we'd go out after they were there for a couple of years. We'd go out there. And of course, you're out there in California, Los Angeles, you see everything. Everything's exciting.
Yes, ma'am.
So I seen the girls smoking. You know, when the ladies started putting
the clips,
the little thing on the
silver tips.
Yeah, the little. And then the ladies started smoking and started wearing slacks.
I want to say she could look this way.
And so anyhow, well, yeah. What you gonna have some pictures taken too?
No, I want you. This is all about you. In fact, what year were you born?
1904.
1904. What month?
May 6th.
May the 6th.
1904.
Now, were you your mom's first child or the second child?
Well, no. You see, Dr. Kinley was there were 5 boys. And the oldest boy was Uncle Benny. Uncle Benny. Our brother. He was the oldest. Then Dr. Kinley.
What year was Dr. Kinley born?
I think it. I don't know. You asked me too quick. I might have been able to tell you, but I don't know what year. I can't remember.
That's okay.
95? Was it 95? Probably somewhere about there. Well, anyhow, I can't tell you. I can't tell you that.
You know what? You're right. It says 1895 on his stone tomb. Yes, it's 8. We went out to his burial site today.
Did you?
Yes, ma'am, and it says, I think, born 1895 and died 1976.
Yeah.
So you're right.
Yeah, well, I just kind of squares out a little something up here right quick.
Oh, you're close to it.
But, well, I tell you, you know, Yahweh has blessed me. And none of my family. Now, Yahweh loves everybody. They're just like he did me. But it just wasn't in his purpose to let the rest of them stay. See?
That's right.
And thanks to Yahweh, he was so good to me to let me stay. And for some reason, you know, I don't know how people feel about it, but my family, my sister, she could write beautiful, and of course my sister's children, and my brother Bob. Did you know Brother Bob?
No, ma'am.
But he was the younger. Well, anyhow, what I'm saying to you is this. It sounds ridiculous, but you know, not one of my family, aunts, uncles, cousins, brothers, sisters, sons, children, nobody has ever lived to see 95 years in the flesh. And, well, Yahweh just had a purpose, and I guess he seen fit, but Yahweh always kept me close to Dr. Kinley.
He did?
He kept me close. And none of my family. Now, my sister wrote beautifully. My Dr. Kinley could write nice. And Brother Bob, he would write. But nobody would write to the family and keep the family together but Nidebell. And I was the oldest girl. But for some reason or other, Yahweh just let me stay. And thanks to him that I I've been enjoying myself, although I'm sort of in, my head's still where it was. My brains are still where it was. But you know what I tell them?
What, ma'am?
I have them. I said, well, you know, there's just been about three or four people from New York school has come in, you know, and they want to come over and talk to Aunt Nidabell. And so I tell them this. I said, well, you know, Yahweh's blessed me. And I give Yahweh the credit, because, you know, there ain't a thing I can do to make myself forget or remember, you know. But the brothers, they come and they love to hear me tell things about Dr. Kinley. Well, I give the credit to Yahweh, see? Yahweh had a purpose, and and you know, so many of them want me to let them call Dr. Nidebell. I said, I don't know enough to be called no doctor. See? And they don't just call me Aunt Nidebell if you want to. But you have to know something. To know the thing that I have to know a whole lot more than I know to even to give a good testimony too. What I mean, I'm able to give to test. My mouth's in pretty good shape.
Yes,
my
ma'am.
body's kind of beat up, but Yahweh kept my mouth in pretty good shape, you know. But I never felt uncomfortable if anybody called me not a doctor.
Why, Dr. Nidebell?
Well, see, you're young, and you've been in this school, and you was about to be one the first time I ever met you see, and you all were close to speaking, you know, but I never felt well. You don't, as I say, and I can tell you some good things about what Yahweh I've seen and experienced in this body. See?
What have you experienced in this body?
Well, you know, I didn't know whether you knew this or not, but most of the people in the New York class and the Los Angeles class know that I was healed of cancer by Dr. Kinley.
To Dr. Kinley?
Dr. Kinley.
How?
Well, I'll be delighted to tell you. To tell you how it was a miracle. That's one reason why down here now. Because back in those days, when Dr. Kinley and then a lot of other, if you mentioned cancer, that was sure death. See? You're gone, you see? Well, I can tell you this, and I'm glad you asked me, because that's one of the things that Yahweh has kept in my mind, and been able for me to tell it. Give Yahweh the glory above all things, see? Well, it was back in, the days when Dr. Kinley, Dr. Harris and Dr. Kinley would come back and forth to Springfield. And they spent a lot of their time in Springfield because the families that was here, and there was still some of the Dr. Kinley's family, Sister Katie Kinley, his wife, and was still here in Springfield. And so, but of course, Dr. Kinley said, I've got to go and get this work out into the world, you know. And so Yahweh gave him Dr. Harris, you know. And he had personality, both of them, and then also the ability to teach and to talk. And even took them up, they went up into the Vatican, you know. That was one of the main things, so. And they made 3 trips around the world, see, peace missions, you know. And that took them all in all areas of the world, among all kinds of people. But anyhow, so Dr. Kinley and Dr. Harris, when they would come to Springfield, why, the whole town turned out, you know. So Dr. Kinley, Dr. Harris and Dr. Mary Gross and Dr. Harris's wife, what is her name?
What's
Dr.
Harris's wife's name? Marion.
Marion. They come to Springfield every year. Come up to Springfield every summer or spring or whatever. So Dr. Kinley, him and Dr. Harris and Marion and Mary Gross, they all come up. It was important, I guess, the summertime. And so they drove this time. And they drove Dr. Harris, and they come in over on Buxton Avenue block over here to my oldest brother's house. Well, we all got the word where they was going to land first. So the house was full when they got here, drove over here. So, well, Dr. Kinley, he visited with all of us. And so he said, Nidabell, he said, now, I may not be here, but just 3 or 4 days. He said, but we've got to go on to New York. He said, we've got to get this work out. He said, and get this teaching out to the world. And so he said, so we won't be staying too long. So I'm sitting over there, and of course...
Was it in this house?
Well, maybe I'll tell you. Yeah, it got to be over here.
Yes, ma'am.
I said, yeah, I'll get around and tell you about this house.
Yes, ma'am.
So anyhow, that was a class night, and it was a class night when we would go to Dayton and have class in Dayton. And all the Springfield people go to Dayton.
Yes, ma'am.
So this was on a Thursday. So and when we got through speaking and shaking hands, and so we said, well, he said, we're going to go on down to Dayton. And so Dr. Harris and Dr. Kinley and the girls, Marion and Mary Gross, they were leaving to go to, but I hadn't been feeling good getting around this cancer business. So anyhow, I hadn't been feeling good, hadn't been feeling good at all. And my husband had bought me a big 500-pound refrigerator, and I was puny and wasn't able, so he sold it because I wasn't well. My husband had a beautiful vegetable garden, raised everything in it, and even the strawberries, and built me a cupboard in the basement because I was with the other ladies around the block. I wrote to the Ball Canning Company and had them to send me a canning book. And the girls in this block, well, they would, we'd all just get together and we'd tell each other, well, what are you making? We're making this, we're going to make this, well, I want to make something of it too. But the ladies in this block, that's what we was doing. So my husband, Bob, he bought me this nice big refrigerator. Well, and so I could can what I want to, and make what I want to, and preserve it, whatnot. But I got so puny with this, I didn't know cancer. So he sold it. He sold the refrigerator freezer. And so he sold it because it was sitting here and wasn't using it. Well, anyhow, they they said, well, Nidabell, since you're not feeling too good, he said, you stay here with Cousin Ollie and you fix us a lunch, and when we come back from down in Dayton, said you have us a little lunch and we'll all get together after class in Dayton and we'll talk. So in the meantime, well, Dr. Harris, we all shook hands, and when Dr. Harris and them come in, and when they got around to me, Dr. Harris said, how you, Nidebell? Well, I said, I don't feel too good. And he never questioned me about how I felt or whatnot. Cancer. Didn't know what it was. Just wasn't feeling good. They went on to Dayton and come back. And we had a nice lunch fixed. House was full. Fixed for them to come back and visit with us some more until we was midnight. Of course, they were pretty tired. But in the meantime, they was over to my brother then, and of course my sister. They would be back and forth with her. We were all within the same block. But I asked my husband Bob. I said, Bob, I said, you know, when I go to California, I said they're so good to me and my cousin Olive, and I said, can I have them here on a Saturday night? I said, Dr. Kinley said they may not be in Springfield, but just 3 or 4 days, because they wanted to go on to New York and see about getting this work out. And I said, can I have them over to my house? At our house, Bob. He said, yes. But I didn't know what to do to entertain them, you know. And so I happened to think that our family's got a big box, and it's got big pictures in it. Oh, and my sister, she made me nice bowl of salad. So we had Dr. Harris and there and Dr. Kinley and all of them come over that evening. I think it was on a Friday or Saturday night. I think it was on a Friday or Saturday night. Well, it was on a Saturday night. Well, anyhow, we talked and talked and talked. Now I'm getting around to where you want to give me what I'm saying. So we talked and talked until everybody looked at the pictures. And if you know anything about the yesteryears, how the boys with the big top pants and the big striped so and the hats with the little feather and whatnot in them, what the men ladies they wore, and they looked at the pictures. Mm-hmm. These were pictures when Dr. Kinley was a young man, yes, very young man. And so they got through this. Of course, I was stupid. I didn't know what to tell, what to say. And it began to, after we looked at the pictures, well, what do? Well, you're supposed to fix this lunch and have a little refreshment. Well, I forgot to give them the lunch and the refreshment. But in the meantime, we looked at those pictures, and Dr. Kinley and I told him I wasn't feeling good. And so, Dr. Harris, when we got back from Dr. in Dayton, he said, Nidebell, how do you feel? I said, Dr. Harris, I don't know how I feel. I said, I just feel bad. And so they forgot about me then, and they talked until we're back up to my house again. This is on Saturday night. They come in on Thursday. This is Saturday. Mm-hmm. So when they began to had looked at the pictures, there wasn't a whole lot more that I could do to entertain them. But y'all wouldn't. And all of a sudden the house got quiet. Nobody had nothing to say. And Dr. Kinley sitting right over there on that window. That's where he sat. Dr. Harris was sitting right close to here where this lamp is, mm-hmm. around here. Mm-hmm. And I'm sitting here where that frame is.
Yes, ma'am.
My husband was sitting here.
Yes, ma'am.
And the rest of them I don't recall where. That was about all it was here. Mary and them sat on the couch. And the room got real quiet for some reason. And the room quieted. Dr. Kinley spoke up and he said, Nidebell, now this is the truth, see? I know better than to tell lies. Well, lies sound good. See? See, but I'm telling you what Yahweh allowed me to remember. Dr. Kinley spoke up. The house got quiet. He spoke up. Now I ain't been feeling good. Dr. Kinley said, Nidebell, yeah, well, let's talk about it. I said, okay. He said, Nidabell, you're sick. He said, you're seriously sick. He said, Nidabell, you got cancer. And cancer at that time, you just get ready to dig your hole, you know?
Mm-hmm.
Well, that's what he said. He said, Nidabell, you got cancer. He said, you're sick, and you're seriously sick. You got cancer. And everybody, of course, I'm struck. Everybody else struck. He just spoke that like that. He said, but, Nidabell, if you will glorify God, we didn't know y'all, that means, if you will glorify God in your body and in your spirit, he said, you will live. I said, Dr. Kinley, I have nothing else in my mind but to glorify God in my body and in my spirit. He said, you will live. And I didn't get frightened. I didn't get frightened a bit. He said that. They stayed, and we talked, and we talked. Now, my husband didn't know him. He didn't know Yahweh, as he had been in our school with us, but he didn't know. And he was shocked. He was shocked, and he said, he didn't know what the Dr. Kinley and Dr. Harris, they stayed, and they talked to him till the wee hours of morning.
To your husband?
My husband. And so they left and went on to their home and that night, and I got ready, and my husband was getting ready for church, and he got ready, got ready to go to bed. It was morning then, but I tell you what, Dr. Kinley went on and with them out there, went and got ready to their home where they were staying, and they were staying at Dr. Gill's. Mm-hmm. And so morning came, and it was Sunday morning, and my husband was getting ready to go to church, and of course I was going to try to go to class. So Dr. Kinley and Dr. Harris drove up out there right in front of this house. Mm-hmm. Drove up and tooted the horn. I got ready and I ran out and asked to see what they wanted. Now Dr. Kinley said this to me. He told me in the house there last night, Nidebell, you got cancer. I would go out to meet him. They blow the horn. Dr. Harris and Dr. Kinley was getting ready on their way to up to Columbus. That's where they were speaking. And Dr. Kinley said, now Nidebell, don't you be afraid. Told me I got cancer. He said, now don't you be afraid. I said, oh, I won't be afraid. I won't be afraid. He said, now we're going on in front of you. We're going to Columbus. Well, I'm coming on later. I said, oh, I won't be afraid. They drove off. I come in the house. Mm-hmm. Now, see, I don't tell lies. And you won't either if you've been born again with this teacher. See, you ain't going to tell lies.
Right.
You'll be glad. You're happy. So you ain't going to be telling no lies. See?
Right.
That's the reason I tell people. You know, a lie sounds so good, see? Most all lies, they sound real good, you know. And so, but I tell them, I don't tell lies. And that's so I get ready, left it. He said, now don't you be afraid. I said, oh, I won't be afraid. I won't be afraid not coming. Tripping on back in the house. And I went on in my bedroom for some reason. And as I went in there, was like, and I remember he said, now don't you be afraid. And something happened to me, and I got so nervous, I didn't know what to do with myself. And some say he told you not to be afraid. He told you not to be afraid. And it just looked like something shook me. He said, this feeling, and this boy said, he told you not to be afraid. And then that voice said, well, don't be afraid. And I just got this as calm as I could be. And Bob went on to his church, and I stayed, and I went on to Columbus with him. But that stayed with me. And so Dr. Kinley said that night before they left, Dr. Kinley said, Nidabell. And by the way, Dr. Harris sat over right there, that chair, this right there, right close to that lamp. That's where Dr. Harris sat. Mm-hmm. Dr. Harris sat over there, and Dr. Kinley sat there. Mm-hmm. My husband sat right here, and I'm sitting right there, and Marion and Mary sat on that couch. Now, Dr. Harris spoke up when Dr. Kinley said you got cancer, Nidabell. And Dr. Harris spoke up and said, Bob, that's my husband's name, Bob, he said, I'll show you where that cancer is in Nidebell.
Oh my God.
And, oh my goodness, well, that's it. But hello. Dr. Harris stayed here, they stayed here that night until it was wee hours morning. Well, we're around to Sunday now. And so, but Dr. Kinley told, before they left to go home, Dr. Kinley said, now, Bob, he said, I want you to take Nidabell, and you go and let Dr. Harris show you where that cancer is. Staying over to Dr. Gill. Well, my husband, he just couldn't take it. Because he said, well, I'll get her sister to go with her, my sister Elizabeth. And so he said, now I want you to go to the hospital, city hospital right here, brand new old building, mm-hmm. That right across the street here from me. And so he said, Bob didn't tell me he wasn't going to take me because he was scared to death already. So he just told me, he said, Bob, I want you to take Nidabell, and I want you to take her and go and let Dr. Harris show you where that cancer is. Well, we didn't. But my sister, she volunteered, I'll go with you. So, Monday come, and my sister and I, we got ready. She come with me. We went over to Dr. Gill, and he showed about where the cancer was. It was his cancer in the uterus. So anyhow, we left Dr. Gill and left Dr. Harris and left Dr. Gill, and my sister and I went on to the doctor. Now, Dr. Kinley said, I want you, when you get to that doctor, you tell him we want him to take specimens, every specimen that's necessary, and send it to the city hospital. Well, my family doctor and Dr. Kinley, they were friends, and so he did what he told to do as my family doctor. And he said, so everybody was, they were so let down. They were so let down when they heard I had cancer. So Dr. Kinley done told me now, if you live, if you glorify Yahweh in your body and in your spirit. Well, we went on to the doctor. The doctor took the specimen and sent it to the city hospital here across the street here. Mm-hmm. And so a couple days went by, and they on Tuesday night was a regular class meeting night. And so after Monday, and Dr. Harris and Dr. Kinley, they went to Cincinnati on the Tuesday morning. That's where Dr. Harris's the family lived in Cincinnati. But when they got back, class in Springfield had started. And as Yahweh would have it, when Dr. Kinley they come on and sat down quietly. Whoever was on the floor just kept speaking. And Dr. Kinley got close enough to me. The chair sat there. And he was close enough to me. This is what he whispered and said to me. Nidabell, how you feeling? I said, oh, I'm feeling better. Well, the thoughts of me having cancer and feeling better and had been told, if you glorify Yahweh in your body and in your spirit, you will live. That's what he said to me. He whispered it. But he whispered it aloud enough for nobody to disturb nobody else but me. And when he said, how you feeling? I said, oh, I'm feeling better. And he just kept his eyes on the speaker. And just as nobody else wasn't disturbed. And that night, after class, well, everybody wanted to talk. This is Tuesday night now. Well, but the Tuesday night being here, and we have class on Thursday. This is Tuesday, and it's a Tuesday night class. Well, they had a little class in Springfield on Wednesday. And Thursday night was ready to go back to Dayton as we had went when they went to sit, while me and Cousin Ollie had to fix them a lunch. We're back to a week ago the night they come in. Well, they were always glad to see Dr. Kinley. Always glad to see him. So when Dr. Kinley coming back in class from the first Thursday night to the second Thursday night, I'm feeling so much better. I went with him that night. Now, mind you, I'm doing my best to tell you like it was.
Yes, ma'am.
That's been many years ago.
Yes, ma'am.
That night, this Tuesday night, well, everybody was glad to have Dr. Kinley back. Wednesday night, they usually had a question and answer over to Dr. Kinley's house where his family stayed while he's in California. So they had a little question and answer service that night. This is on the Tuesday night now. And this is on Thursday night, get ready, on Wednesday night, and then we'll get ready to go back to Dayton. Well, Wednesday night we had a question and answer at Dr. Kinley's house, the family where he lived in Springfield. We had met there, and that was on a Wednesday night. And everybody getting ready to go back to Dayton the next night. So anyhow, they had the question and answer. Dr. Kinley was with us. Everything was fine. So when Thursday night come, I'm feeling so much better till I go with them back to Dayton. This is the way Yahweh has kept this in my mind. Now, I'm 95 years old now, but I don't think I missed too much. I'm telling you. But you know what? I know Yahweh, and Yahweh knows me. You know, and He knows every one of us for that matter. But Yahweh kept that thing it's in there. And I don't give no credit on me be no smart. See, I know Yahweh kept that. Now that was back in when I was a young woman, you know. But anyhow, I want to stay on my point and tell you how this come out. And so, as time would have it, Yahweh just kept me feeling a little stronger and a little stronger. So, Dr. Kinley now, send those, they call them documents, send them to the Collegiate Hospital, the city hospital there. And so we went on and went back to Dayton. My husband had something thought he's being real smart. My husband wasn't a member of the school. So my husband, of course, there wasn't no way for him to have no faith yet. So he said, well, this is what I'm thinking in his mind. I'm going to be there. I'm going by the doctor's office and see when that copy comes in about her cancer test. He said, I'm going by from work, back from Thursday, we're back now to the second, down in Dayton again on Thursday night, and this is Friday. My husband gets ready, and he comes by from work and goes by the doctor's office. Mm-hmm. And the doctor says, well, Bob, he said, the cancer test hasn't come in yet. Well, he kind of let down and disappointed. You want to be the first to know. Well, yeah, we just didn't have to fix that way, you know. So I always went to the doctor on Saturday. He stopped by on Friday coming home from work. The doctor kept on saying, the cancer test hasn't come yet, Bob. And so my Saturday was the day that I always went to the doctor on. And I drove myself. I could go myself. So that Saturday, Bob said, I'm going with you. I said, well, that's fine. So we both got ready. I went for my special treatment. The doctor had no idea, nothing. Well, I just thought I was just another woman that had problems, you know. And I thought was loved my doctor, in fact, and he was best was in Springfield. So anyhow, Bob went with me. We walked in the doctor's office, and the doctor come out. The cancer test come on Saturday morning. When we walked into his office Saturday afternoon, he said, here's your cancer test. And the nurses had fixed it so they could tell you what degree of cancer might take. And I had a copy of it made. And Dr. Kinley had told us. He said, now anything you want to keep or preserve, he said, have it documented. See? Well, I tell you, when they got it there on Saturday, when they got on Sunday at class, oh, they got up and read it. When Nidebell's got cancer, see? So they was all just didn't know how to feel. And I was feeling so much better that I kind of wanted to keep up with them. So Dr. Kinley, Dr. Harris got up and read it. And of course they was a little bit doubted and just happy that I was there. So a few days went by and they set the cancer test. They had it read. Dr. Harris being the doctor, they read it that I had cancer. So Dr. Kinley said, well, he said, now Nidabell, I tell you what I want. You got cancer? He said, I want you to go to your doctor. And you go to your doctor, and for 12 days, you do what that doctor tells you. And I did that. And that was back in I think it was about 1930, not 1930 something. And that cancer, and that's the last of it. And here I am.
Nidebell, you were saying that was in 1930 something?
Well, she doesn't.
Huh? Yeah. He sat there and told me, sit right over here.
And told you. This is years after he first had his vision.
Huh?
This is after he had his vision in Revelation.
Oh yeah.
This is years after.
Oh yeah. This is after the vision.
Okay.
Oh yeah. After the vision. Yes indeed. Oh, yeah. And he told me, and he said, from now on, any of you, he said, you want to have, I had it.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to put my hands on it this minute, but I did that.
Mm-hmm.
And then, Yahweh has been so very good to me. And you ever know anything about vertigo?
Vertigo.
Vertigo.
Yes.
The loss of equilibrium.
Yes, ma'am.
Mhm.
You anybody ever had it?
I've heard of it.
Did you?
Michael, you ever knew anybody that ever had it?
No, I don't know anybody. I've heard of it, but I don't know.
Huh?
I've heard of it, but I don't know. I don't know anybody who's had it.
Well, it's a loss of balance.
Mhm.
See, loss of balance and loss of equilibrium,
Mm-hmm.
and it's miserable. It's miserable. But people, so many people, and the best that I could tell you would be, you ever go to Carnival?
Mm-hmm.
You ever see them rides get on?
Michelle,
Ride 2 or 3 of them.
I've got to
And
go over and get the power pack because the battery's gonna go down.
Okay.
You may have to sit back.
yeah,
Okay.
when they have these
Be right back.
rides.
Mm-hmm. Like a ride, like a roller coaster or something?
Yeah.
Yes, ma'am.
Be right back.
Are you?
Oh, I'm Nidabell.
Yeah. When you go, well, I don't want to take all the time.
Yes, you do.
You do?
I'm Nidebell. People in the world, we drove hours. And Yahshua, like you said, he preserved you for a reason.
Well, all right.
And so we want
I don't
to...
bore you.
You don't bore us.
Oh,
Oh, I love you.
well,
I love you.
you?
Yes, ma'am.
sweetheart,
Because-
it's so nice. You know.
Nidebell, I think I have cancer in the uterus.
Do you?
I do. You know why?
Why?
I don't want this on tape.
Huh?
I don't want this on tape, though. I have to turn this off. Wait a minute.
You think you have?
How you turn this
Well,
Oh, off.
oh, bless you, honey.
What it is, it's a wild color. Where you get this orange from?
What
This
you-
is so cool.
oh,
It's orange. I love orange.
oh, bless you,
I
sweet.
love it. It's
Oh,
pretty.
Now, I'm just close them. We might.
Oh my! I'm not even who sent you these flowers. These are beautiful.
Do you know what?
Ooh.
They're artificial.
They look real, don't they?
No. A friend and a class member sent them to me from she lives around Detroit.
Those are beautiful.
Don't they look? I don't know.
They look so real.
Look at that. Look at this one over here. See that little plant? Put that little plant.
This not real?
Yeah, put. Now that's not real. Now look, pick it up.
Mm-hmm.
Pick it up for the bowl. Now turn around there to the light. You see that little button?
Mm-hmm.
I'm thinking of you. Tell you
Oh, wow.
Let me tell you I'm in love with you. Let me tell
Just a minute.
I'm in love with you. Let me tell you I'm in love with you.
Now, that the same lady that's a member of the school here, she lives in Detroit now. And she sent me that. And she sent me those artificial flowers. And I never yet learned whether she made them or had them made.
They're beautiful.
And so that
And I love that song.
do you
Yes.
that song?
Mhm.
And it was cute.
It's a pretty song.
Well, it was just, and I said, well, I've never seen anything like it, and she gave me that Mother's Day and my birthday,
How nice.
just a few months ago.
I know. We were all excited when we heard you turn 95.
Did
We
you?
couldn't believe it.
Well, what? Oh,
We couldn't believe
sweetheart.
it.
I'm nice of
We
you.
couldn't believe it.
Oh, well, honey.
You outlived both your husbands.
Well, not only that, my mother, my father, No, but my life, I had one son, but not any. I just, all of my family's gone. All of my family's gone. And I'm the only one that has lived to be 90 years old.
Isn't that something?
Well,
Nidabell, were you born in Springfield?
yeah, right down the street.
You were born in Springfield?
Yeah. Born in Springfield, right on the same street.
Have you ever lived anyplace else?
Well, no, I don't think I've lived any place else, but other than Springfield.
Okay.
We've always lived in Springfield.
And you went to grammar school here?
Went to grammar school just across the street. Well, you can't see it from here.
Oh yeah, across the street.
Just practically across the street.
And that's where Dr. Kinley attended school?
Yeah. That's where he situated in the 6th grade. Now the building is gone now, most of the building, but there is parts of it that are still there. And when they tore it down, some of us built bricks, but that's where he went to school too.
Mm-hmm.
And then there was a school around. The same school was around here on East High Street.
Mm-hmm.
But that we all went to school there.
Now,
What was the name of it?
Hmm?
What was the name of the school?
What's the name?
What was the name of the school?
It was, let me see. Oh dear, I went to school there. Elmwood. Elmwood School.
Okay.
Elmwood School. It was a beautiful school. And the little white children that were their families had chauffeurs, they had to pay to go to the school because they were out of their area.
Mm-hmm.
But they were such a pretty school. Well, the white people, they didn't mind. And when they'd drive up and the chauffeurs would get out and let the girls, the children get out and go to school, Elmwood. And that's just across the street.
Nidabell, now were your parents from Springfield, your mom and your dad?
No, my mother was from Clarksville, Tennessee.
From Clarksville?
Yeah. And my father was from well, let's see, he's from Kentucky.
From Kentucky?
Yeah.
And they met where?
Yeah, well, they met and married there in Kentucky.
Mm-hmm.
And,
What made them come to Springfield?
well, I can tell you that, how they got to Springfield.
Mm-hmm.
And how we all got to Springfield. But fortunately, I guess I was around when they told us how it happened. But my father had a sister,
Mm-hmm.
and she lived just up on the other street from here. And she was always, she had a lovely home, because she had a husband that he loved a nice home.
Mm-hmm.
And he would make things and they used to have walks around. The men would cut the little blocks and make pretty walks around the house.
Mm-hmm.
They didn't have cement at that time.
Mm-hmm.
But my aunt's husband, we called him Uncle Jim. And they had a lovely home, and she was a beautiful housekeeper. And she kept house, and we always admired her beautiful home. And so my mom and dad, we just lived down the street from her. And so my dad, I don't know what my dad was what he was doing at the time, but he wasn't making much money. He wasn't making much money, and my uncle was working at the piano plate company, and they made plates for the piano.
Mm-hmm.
And so my aunt said to my dad, my aunt said, George, she said, George, why don't you and Ada, my mom, and you come to Springfield? And she said, let Jim help you find a job, get a job. He's working at the Wickham Piano Plate Company, and he'll get you a job there.
Wow.
And so my dad, that sounded pretty good. And so it come to fulfill it, you know. So my dad made up his mind. He called my mama. He said, Ada, I think he said, Sister Lizzie called me and asked me to come to Springfield, and Uncle Jim will get me a job, Ada. And said, you and the children stay here and let me go on up there where Sister Lizzie and Uncle Jim live. And he said, as soon as I get a job, I'll send for you and the rest of the children. Well, that's what happened. My aunt and uncle, he got a job, and he had already had the job, and he worked for this big Wickham piano player. And later on in years, I'll tell you the rest of it. My dad bought the piano and gave me when I was 8 years old. It was made there, right where he worked.
Isn't that something?
Yeah. Well, anyhow, my dad and mom, they got mommy and brought her on up to Springfield, and Dad had a place from the rest of my kids, and that's how we got to Springfield.
So as a little boy, did Dr. Kinley sing any different than any little boy?
Well, you know, I don't think he was different in many ways. But see, I never knew Dr. Kinley. Dr. Kinley's a little better than 9 years older than me. Did you go to the convention in Dallas?
In 87?
Yeah.
Yes, ma'am, I was there.
Well, now, do you remember me?
Yes. And I also remember they said the first speaker would be Dr. Kinley.
Yeah.
On the video.
And when wasn't that exciting?
Yes, ma'am.
We won didn't he look?
That's
We were
looking around.
baffled. How no? He's gonna be the first speaker. Wasn't that exciting? Oh, that was so exciting. Oh, I tell you, Yahweh has placed that in my mind, and I had a beautiful picture of it just right now. At any time, and I've just been so blessed for Yahweh to allow me to keep those things up there. And I can draw a picture where he's standing out to the side, kind of, and he begins to talk to the people. I tell you, this is the best thing that it will ever happen to mankind. This teaching. It's the greatest thing in the world. See?
Why do you say that on Night of Prayer?
Well, there's nothing no
I
better.
know why, but you tell me why.
Yeah, well, because there is nothing. And listen, he's left the evidence here. These people, these teachers and instructors that Yahweh has filled them with the Holy Spirit. There's nobody on earth can top the knowledge. They know about the heavens. They know about the earth. They know about the satanic spirit. See? There's nothing no greater than that. He gave it all. When he put that spirit into Dr. Kinley, there's nothing no greater. There will never be nothing no greater. So that's why I say what I say. This is the greatest. There's no what you call no samples, and there's nothing else that can deal with it.
Let me ask you a question.
Huh?
Let me ask you a question.
Yeah.
When Dr. Kinley, do you remember when he said, when he revealed the name of Yahweh, when he taught no longer under Lord and God and Jesus Christ, but when he told you about Yahweh being the true name, do you remember how he did that? Or how you felt, or what happened when you found out?
Well, I'll tell you how I felt about it. I tell you. Now he took the time. He took the time. And much suffering. And then he wrote a book, see, on how the things that he could feel when Yahweh was taking him out of that, well, I don't know how to put it, they take him out of that atmosphere at the time, when Yahweh was putting in him that book, and he would tell us about how he could feel the angels and the horses and the treading of the feet when certain things was coming into his mind, and how Yahweh lifted him up and let him see things, you know. Well, we didn't. All we could do was listen. We were not. You see, this teaching is the greatest thing in the world. See, there's nothing like it. Never will be. See, this teaching is the greatest thing in the world, and he did his best to express.
Take this off.
I think I'll try to put my feet down for a little while.
Okay, very good.
Just a minute. I think I can. Okay, just kind of let me down.
Okay.
That's the time. I just kind of rested a little bit.
Okay.
But, you know, now, I didn't live with Dr. Kinley. I didn't live, he lived in Cincinnati. And I was in church at that time. But I still say, and I don't know why, and I'm not trying to be indifferent, but I'd leave my church and go to Cincinnati. My husband had a passes on the railroad. He worked with New York Central. And he'd get me passes. And I was a member of the church. And I was a good member of the church. And the church loved me. Because I was what you call president of the choir.
Wow.
And the vice president of the choir, and belonged to the Women's Society Christian Church. Wow. And so when Dr. Kinley was getting this work out to the world, I would leave. I could leave my church and since my husband could get me a pass, I'd leave and go on to Cincinnati.
To hear
Well,
Dr.
they didn't mind. They didn't mind. But Dr. Kinley would talk to me, and they'd go ahead. Maybe they wasn't having class then. They'd go ahead and have it. Nidebell come down. We're going to have class in Cincinnati. But and Dr. Kinley, when Yahweh I was dealing with him, why, he always sounded good. Everything he would say, and it sounds so interesting. I mean, just Yahweh, you might want to stay with the church, and we didn't know what was happening. But I would sit listening, and it would sound so good. And what he was saying sounded so different, you know. And Yahweh would, when the time comes, Yahweh would let him do things, say things, and let it come to pass. You see? And he had the most patience with me. And I remember one thing that touched me. Dr. Kinley was a little bit different than the rest of us kids. He was a little bit different. He didn't play with us much. He never ring around the rosy and hide and seek. I don't remember him playing games like that. But he was a little bit, I guess you would kind of say, standoffish. And our older brother, now he was older than me too, and he was older than any of us. But Dr. Kinley was just a little bit. He wasn't. He didn't play with us like ring around the rosy. Then I had our older brother, Ben. Now, he was a grown man when I was a kid. And so, but now brother, the older brother, he was a man that he grown up, and he never did, he saved his little pennies. And he always had a cigar box, and he'd have change in there. And Wade, he would play with my other brother, brother, and my sister and me.
You want some water, Nidabell?
Well, I think I'm pretty good. Maybe
I'll give you a little water. I'll give you just a little.
See, a little bit while I run out and sing.
Okay.
Give me a little bit, please.
I don't need to make you have to talk so much.
Oh, well, I'm
sorry.
all right.
I'm so sorry. I feel awful.
No, don't feel
We just want. I'm so sorry.
Everything's fine.
Okay, I'm sorry. All right. I'm sorry.
I'm glad to see you.
Okay.
Oh, I was so sorry. You know, we've been a little bit separated, you know.
It's okay though. You've been in our heart.
Huh?
You've been in our heart.
Oh, bless you. You don't know how glad I am. I feel that Yahweh has restored you, and we're back together.
Hallelujah.
You all are so sweet. And listen,
Yes, ma'am.
I've never had anybody to send me the beautiful flowers that you all sent.
Oh, we love you so
and
much.
you can. I never forget what you have on them tags.
You read them?
Listen, I know them by heart. Yeah, I know it by heart. You said, we are your spiritual children.
That's right.
We're your spiritual children. And you know, Yahweh, we kind of got a little separated there for a little while. But Yahweh has brought us back together.
Yeah.
Our prayers have been answered.
That's right on Nidebell. That's right. That's right.
See,
That's right.
Yahweh heard us.
See?
And here you are. And you're happy. And I'm happy.
I'm so happy. I am so
I was
happy.
so broke up and down a whack. And
No.
I couldn't get the communication. And I'd call and he would answer. And you know, Satan kind of kept separated us a little bit.
Yeah.
But I grieved and I prayed. And you would send the beautiful flowers. You all sent the most beautiful flowers.
I can't.
You don't know how glad I am.
Yeah, I love
feel
it.
like what do you call it, the child with the
prodigal child.
prodigal son.
The
Yeah.
prodigal son.
Yeah, see, back the prodigal son is home, you see. And I couldn't tell people who you were, because you hadn't been here. How long has it been since you were here?
What is it, 3 years? Mike?
About 2 years.
About 2 years? It's been a
It's
long
been longer
time.
than that. Since you come.
Yeah, maybe about 3 years. It's been 3 years, Mike. About 3 years.
3 years.
Yeah.
About 3.5 years.
Uh-huh.
Well, and you sent all the beautiful flowers you sent, and the first flowers you ever sent me, they took the cake. It was so pretty. Well,
But you know, on that about everybody loves you like that. I've spoken to other women that I know that know you. Edwina,
yeah,
she's from Cincinnati,
yeah.
and she loves you so much. You know, I know so many women that love you, so many people.
You do.
Yes, ma'am.
Yahweh gives you love.
Doesn't he give you
Yeah,
love?
yeah. He finds somebody to love you, and you love them.
Yes.
He's just that kind of a father, you know. And we love Yahweh.
That's right.
And he keeps us together.
Yeah.
When we obey,
Right.
there's a little song, trust and obey, For there's no other way to be happy in Joshua but to trust and obey. Well, we believe in doing that, you know.
We do.
Trust in Yahweh and then obey Yahweh.
Mm-hmm.
See? Don't fight it.
Don't.
Try it. Now, I'm a meek woman. I hurt where everybody else hurts too. See?
Mm-hmm.
But Dr. Kinley has done a lot to these people, and Yahweh has left His Spirit with us.
Mm-hmm.
The body's gone,
Right.
but the Spirit's not gone.
That's
See?
funny.
And it never will be. See? As long as we love and trust and obey, that's part of the
Mm-hmm.
trust and obey.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you.
I'm gonna
sweetie.
sit it right here.
Yeah, thank you.
On our table.
Is it? Well,
This is our table.
bless you.
I like that table.
You do?
Yes, ma'am.
Well, it ain't no table.
It's so cute. It could be like a little
That's
nightstand.
humidor. And that was my first husband.
God,
1924.
God, I'm not even. This is so pretty.
Is it?
Yes.
Yeah. Well,
It's very pretty.
I did this come along when we moved here. And you know my husband built this little house.
Your husband built your house?
Built this little house. Yeah.
No.
Built it. Well, it don't look good now.
It looks wonderful. He built a house?
Yeah. And he didn't know beans from apple butter.
Oh, Michael.
He didn't. Well, I tell you, I just tell you, yeah, Yahweh has just been with me. Because Dr. Kinley's been with me.
Yes.
Well, most of my life. And I used to go over and babysit on Saturday night when Dr. Kinley and his wife Katie
Mm-hmm.
would have to go to market.
Mm-hmm.
People else they used to go to market on Saturday night. Yeah, buy a hand of bananas, about 10 cents, you know.
Mm-hmm.
Go with them peanuts. People used to talk about my brother being over, buy some celery. I don't know, I never did like celery. Well, we didn't know those kind of foods at that time.
Mm-hmm.
But on Saturday night, my dad and mom would go to market, and I'd go over and babysit for Dr. Kinley's children.
Mm-hmm.
And so he just showed a lot of love to me and my brother and then sister. And he'd have the young people. Our home was just normal. But my Dr. Kinley